Oh my goodness, where have we been? I'm very pleased to tell you we're coming back. I'm Nikki Druce and I am one of the co-hosts of Killers, Cults and Queens, the first drag/true crime podcast of its kind, and I'm really pleased to say that we are coming back for season 2. It's been a dream to get back in the studio with Cheryl and we've had so much fun. It has been a number of years that we've been planning this now, so I feel like some of the stories that we're going to bring you are incredibly exciting. You're going to love them, and I think they're probably some of our best yet. Now, I know as so many of you have been waiting for this, I thought I'd drop a little 15-minute teaser of our first episode into your podcast feed so you can listen to it right here. But do be sure to check out the first 2 episodes. They are now live if you would like to. But if you just want to give this teaser a little go, then do feel free. I know for some of you, you might not have listened to the show before, so it's a good way for me to introduce this to you. And I really hope you love it because I think we've made something really special. Now, with season 2, there will be 15 episodes, but we also have a bonus episode every single Thursday, more of a relaxed vibe where Cheryl and I are going to be chatting alongside our producer and sometimes some special guests too. And some of those special guests are real doozies and I cannot wait to chat to them. And I think you're going to really enjoy us having a little bit of a discussion about some of the topics that we talk about with other people as well. So do be sure to make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything that comes out in the feed. Now, a few people have asked me where they can get hold of the podcast. You can get it on Global Player. We're now part of the Global family, which is fantastic. But also it's available wherever you get your podcasts. So without further ado, let's jump into the first 15 minutes of episode 1, just to give you a little teaser, and I won't spoil it. But this one is intriguing, it's tricky, it's very difficult, but it's time to learn all about the Jonestown Massacre. So let's take it away. I'm Nikki Druce.
And I'm Cheryl.
And this is Killers, Cults and Queens,
the podcast where we journey to the spookiest, scariest, and damn right weirdest corners of the world.
In this episode, we're looking into one of the biggest and deadliest cults of all time. It's the People's Temple. Are you ready? He would greet his neighbours with such delightful phrases as, "Good morning, you son of a bitch."
Hello, you twat.
Oh,
we're back. It's been a long time coming, but Nikki, I'm ready.
Yeah, come on then. Let's go. Woo! Welcome to Killers, Cults and Queens. Today, we're turning back the clock to look into Jim Jones's disastrous cult, the People's Temple. But first, where the bloody hell have we been?
Shall we address the elephant in the room?
I think we probably should.
Okay.
Did we have a massive falling out? Because that's what everybody was worried about.
We worked it out on the remix. That's what we did.
We did.
I'm sorry, everybody. I really am so sorry. We have teased you, we have tormented you, and we have tickled your back saying it's coming soon.
I know.
But we are finally here.
Yes, we are both so incredibly excited to be back. I feel like I need to do a lap round Leicester Square currently to
well,
burn
that's
the
where we
energy
are.
off.
Spoiler. I just can't believe it's finally here.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to say thank you to everybody that has been such a loyal support to us for a 1-season podcast. You all asking, messaging, when is it coming back? And like, Nikki's been to DragCon a couple times. We've talked with all of you about the podcast. And I'm a firm believer in right time, right place, and everything happens for a reason. And we're meant to be here right now, 2 years later at Global. So Global, we love you, divas. And Nikki, I love you.
I love you too. Oh. And I'm so pleased to be back. I could cry, but I'm not going to because of my makeup.
No. because we're coming to you live on video as well.
I know.
Yes.
Hi.
This is being recorded, whether you're just listening, whether you're, I don't know, doing something naughty, who knows? But we're here.
Yeah, and we're so excited to be back, and we have got such a fantastic season 2 lined up for you. The stories this time.
Stories, but not just the surprises as well. We've got a lot of surprises for you.
A lot of surprises tucked up our caftan sleeve.
tucked up places you don't want to see where they are with me.
So you've probably heard the phrase drinking the Kool-Aid.
Oh, I have, and
Yes.
I know Kool-Aid the beverage, and I know it alludes to like getting lost in the moment, doesn't it?
Well, we will delve into the origins of where it came from, but
Good.
after today, you're probably not going to want to ever use this phrase ever again. Okay.
Great stuff.
So prepare yourselves, everyone. We're about to meet a tricksy, self-absorbed master manipulator and learn how his lies led to the deaths of over 900 people.
How many?
900.
All right, get my seatbelt. Let's go.
Yeah, off we go. However, before we jump right in, I will preface this episode with a warning, as we'll be speaking about suicide and the murder of children and babies. It's not graphic, but if you'd like to avoid hearing this, then please check out another of our episodes, perhaps the Winchester Mystery House or Area 51 for something that's a little bit less heavy.
Both fun.
It's a late November afternoon in Guyana in 1978. There's a basketball tournament happening in town, and the Jonestown basketball team is ready to play. It's a hot day, the tarmac is practically sizzling. The boys of the team have been at the tournament for hours when they suddenly receive a message through their walkie-talkie radio. The message is from their father. It's an order. It explains that the time they've been preparing for is now. They must kill themselves immediately. The boys are in shock. Yes, they've prepared for this, even practiced, but they've never expected that the time would actually come, and definitely not so soon. Defiant, they rally against orders and head to the local police station to ask for help. The police reluctantly agree to investigate the boys' wild claims and are taken back to their home in Jonestown, where they could have never expected the scene that met them. An entire town of people were dead. The unmarked bodies of everyone they knew, including their friends, neighbours and other families they'd lived with, were strewn around the dusty compound. Their leader lay dead on a stage, a gunshot wound to his head. Who was this man, and how had he murdered over 900 people in just a few short hours? Let's find out. I told you we were back with a bang.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot. How have I not heard about this?
Yeah. I'm surprised that you haven't. It is one of these ones where it's kind of,
heavy.
Heavy one.
Yeah. First of all, those poor children being like, you got to kill yourself. Mm-hmm. If somebody said that to me, I'd be like, no, sorry.
Yeah.
So firstly, well done for them for looking after themselves, but also going home to find out that everybody, it's like the Avengers, it's like the snap, everybody's just gone like that.
Yep.
I'm ready to dive in.
Okay.
I've got the armbands. I'm ready to dive in because
prepared.
I need to know what happened.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you because strap in, this one is
good.
Quite a story.
I'm glad, Nikki,
Quite
because
a story. Otherwise, this would be the end of the show.
That's the story, everybody.
Yeah,
goodbye.
Jim Jones was born James Warren Jones on the 13th of May, 1931, in the little town of Crete, Indiana, to mum Lynetta Putnam and dad James Thurman. It was a strange and often fraught childhood for Jim. His father had served in the war and during his service had been in the middle of a chemical weapons attack and sustained some pretty severe injuries, meaning he couldn't work at all, leaving all the responsibility of the household to his young wife Lynetta. There was a reasonable age gap between Jim's dad and his mum. He was 17 years older than her, and as a result of his military injuries, he had what was referred to as emotional difficulties. Unfortunately, things weren't much better with his mother. She claimed herself that she had no maternal instinct towards Jim. She claimed she was under pressure as she was too busy trying to keep their lives together. In 1934, when Jim was just a toddler, the family were evicted because they couldn't keep up with their mortgage payments. Their wider family pooled together to buy them a shack where the three of them could live. But it was pretty bare bones. It had no electricity or plumbing, no home comforts, and
definitely no joy. No joy.
The joy was zapped out in that shack.
It was lacking. It was not there. Life was hard at the shack. They were left to rely on extended family members for support and sometimes struggled so badly that they had to resort to foraging in nearby woodland to get something to eat. Really, really bad situation.
Yeah.
As he grew up, his mother found work in the nearby town, but worked long hours and was hardly ever home. His father's health was deteriorating, and he spent a lot of time in and out of hospital. So Jim was largely left to his own devices, or left with neighbours or family members, and just spent his life feeling like a spare part. And it seems like this had a really big impact on Jim. He later went on to say, quote, "I was ready to kill by the end of the 3rd grade. I mean, I was so aggressive and hostile, I was ready to kill. Nobody gave me love, any understanding. In those days, a parent was supposed to go with a child to school functions. There was some kind of school performance and everybody's parent was there but mine. I'm standing there alone, always alone."
Oh my God.
I know, isn't it heartbreaking?
What age is the 3rd grade?
So 3rd grade.
Kindergarten is
Yeah,
4.
how do
1,
they...
5, 2, 6, 7 years old, and he was ready to be a murderer.
Yeah.
That's a hard life.
That is a hard, hard life.
But the thing is, again, if you guys listen to season 1, I am not showing empathy for these people because they obviously did horrible, horrible things. But there is a level of compassion that we as humans have for these situations because children should never be subject to this. So the only people I can blame is the circumstances.
Yeah.
And it's not even people, it's a circumstance.
Yeah. It was not a particularly good time for little Jim.
Jimmy boy.
Perhaps as an attempt to connect with his father or to just find comfort within the community, Jim started to attend the Nazarene Church, an evangelical Christian church based around the Bible Belt of America.
Oh, here we go.
Which is... Geography test. Bible Belt. Can you do it?
Alabama.
There we go.
South Dakota.
Kentucky.
Tennessee.
There we
go. Which I do not like Tennessee because they try to ban drag. Stupid twats.
What?
Anyway.
Why? It's not a crime.
Drag is not a crime.
So that's the bottom right-hand side of North America if you're looking on a map.
Yes. Thank you, geography, Nikki.
Soon after, Jim joined the church. The pastor's wife, Myrtle Kennedy, took a shine to him. She saw that he was a lonely child and wanted to help. She gave him a Bible and asked him to study it. Under her watchful eye, he learned how to follow the holiness code of the Nazarene Church, which basically boils down to them believing that the power of God is greater than the power of sin. Which
that's a good mantra to live by.
It's okay.
I mean, believe in the good, not in the bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Could have just said that,
right.
but
it's good.
Yeah.
We can deal with that. Jim was hooked. He attended different churches multiple times a week and was baptised in many of them. Church crawl.
Yeah, some people go do a different cocktail in each different bar. He goes
exactly.
And take some holy water from each one.
Yeah, dunk it up.
Question: does holy water come from the same place, or is it just like Volvic?
It's when it's blessed. So I think it can be regular tap water, but it just needs somebody to bless it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
The Father, the Son, and the House of Gucci.
Exactly.
Holy
there
water.
we go. Holy water.
The Holy Spirit's looking after me in this podcast. Thank you very much. Sip, sip.
Mine's probably just Baphomet.
I don't know what that means, but sure.
Yeah. He would take his Bible everywhere, and then he began playing pastor at home, imitating what he'd seen at church, preparing speeches and preaching in his room to an imaginary congregation. But all this religious piety didn't mean that Jim was holier than thou. That pent-up anger he'd developed throughout his formative years still lingered, and it would spill out at the people in his small town. He would... Oh, I'm laughing before I say this because it is hilarious.
Oh, Christ.
He would greet his neighbours with such delightful phrases as, "Good morning, you son of a bitch."
Hello, you twat.
The next one is, "Hello, you dirty bastard." I don't know why I'm saying it with a slight Australian twang. It just feels like the right thing to do. Sorry.
Good out, you
Australian people.
cocksucker. I can see it now on the porch.
Yeah, me too. Oh, that makes me laugh. He would also steal chocolate bars from the local shops in town, and then poor Lynetta would have to come down and pay for it all. And unsurprisingly, with that kind of attitude, he wasn't making any friends. A loner in childhood, he went friendless throughout school. And this was probably because he would show up to school in his best suit with his Bible, both of which he donned every single day.
Oh, his Sunday best.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to go on to say. As if wearing his Sunday best on the daily wasn't weird enough at school, to make him more fun, he would lecture his classmates on the sins of drinking beer, smoking, and even dancing. Jim was a riot.
Does he live in the town of Footloose?
Yes, I think he does.
Crikey. No dancing, no singing, no fun.
No. Now, a little moment for context. Jim was born in the early 1930s in America and went to school throughout the late 30s and early 40s, smack bang in the middle of racial segregation. Segregation didn't formally end until 1964 in America, so you can imagine the horrible state of the country at this point, and Jim, rather surprisingly, was actually against this violation of human rights. Whilst Jim did have many troubling views, his obsession with death and religion, he did rather refreshingly have the right idea on some things. He was massively anti-racial segregation and anti-racism.
Good.
So, ting, we can put a good tick against his name there.
Thank you, Jim.
Jim had seen that in church, everyone, regardless of race, gender or background, could come together in the name of one goal, to worship God. And so it was then the cogs started to turn about how he could create a utopia of his own. But this would have to wait for the moment, and before he could do any of that, he'd need to find a job so he could begin raising funds. So thanks to Jim's obsession with death, it made sense that he should get into the healthcare profession. So after graduating high school in 1948, Jim headed to Reed Hospital in Richmond, Indiana, to work as an orderly. He got all the fun jobs, and his main duties were cleaning up vomit and moving around amputated limbs.
I mean, whatever you're into, right? Whatever tickles your boat. I mean, I would rather have a Chinese than a bit of, I don't know, Real Housewives. If you want to pick up limbs and clean up sicky, go to a high street on a Saturday night.
I feel like I'd rather work in a coffee shop or a bar or something like that.
That's my espresso.
Just easy. Whilst Jim worked at the hospital, he realised, probably because of the limb transportation, that being a doctor was not for him. But the time he spent there wasn't all wasted, because it was where he met his future wife, Marceline May Baldwin, who, in a break from our regularly scheduled programming throughout our shows thus far, was actually 4 years older than Jim.
Ooh, a cougar.
A cougar. They stayed together whilst Jim went to college, and they got married in 1949. But the newlyweds had a problem. Marceline was a Methodist. Methodist churches had strong racial segregation rules, which we know Jim was very against. But over time, Jim decided to compromise on his morals and attended Marceline's church every Sunday for the sake of his marriage. Okay, now we're going to take a bit of a literal sudden left turn here, as Jim, now aged 20, had started attending Communist Party gatherings in Indianapolis. Jim was a Marxist by heart, having read his Communist Manifesto as a child, which is just a bit of light reading.
Yes.
A little bit of light reading.
What are you reading, Mein Kampf?
Yeah, to be fair, it's not a very thick book, so yeah, it's fine.
It's for thick people, this one.
And he was really annoyed at the persecution of communists in the USA. So he made an interesting decision to become a Methodist minister, infiltrate the church, and put real socialism into practice by changing things from the inside. But of course, it was all about to go horribly, horribly wrong.
Where doesn't it?
Thank you for joining me for that teaser. I hope you really enjoyed it. As I said, if you want to check out those first 2 episodes of Killers, Cults and Queens Season 2, it's out right now in your podcast feed. So what are you doing hanging around here? Make sure you go and check it out. I've been Nikki Druce. Remember to stay spooky, and I'll see you ghouls next time.
I'm Nikki Druce.
And I'm Cheryl.
And this is Killers, Cults and Queens.
We're back for Season 2, baby!
That's right, we're back.
So join us once more as we journey to the spookiest, scariest, and damn right weirdest corners of the world.
From maniacal cult leaders, he told his followers that he had to wear dark glasses because his inner powers were so great that his holiness glowed from his eyes and could hurt people if they locked eyes with him.
Is he Scott from X-Men? If he takes his glasses off. Stone cold killers. So he had a gun already and was asking for another gun. And just like that, pow, I'm knee for the beat.
He wanted her to turn away because I believe he didn't want to shoot her face on.
That's a guilty conscience right there.
Could also be because he had plans for that face.
Nikki, stop it now. Stop.
To absolute queen behaviour.
She would reportedly start every day with her favourite song. Rah, rah, Rasputin. We've got a war, people. Time to get out.
Well, it is a bop.
We're going into the unknown.
Listen to the first 2 episodes on the 14th of October with brand new episodes every Monday.
And bonus episodes every Thursday. What?
Don't forget, you can listen on Global Player for free.
Download from the App Store or go to globalplayer.com.
Until then, don't be a killer or join a cult.
Just be a queen. I feel like I'm in shock.
This is a Global Player original podcast.